picture this. It's 3 p.m. You're sitting in that dreaded meeting. Your eyes are getting heavy, but one more coffee is going to make you feel jittery. And 100% guaranteed there's going to be a crash later on. Enter Mud Water, which is a coffee alternative. In fact, it's kind of like coffee's chill cousin. It's packed with chai, cacao, lion's mane, chaga, reishi, cordyceps, turmeric, and cinnamon. All the good stuff to give you energy without the shakes. You get sustained energy and focus minus the crash. No sugar, no sweeteners, just pure earthy goodness. I feel like I'm throwing every positive buzzword I can possibly think of. That's what Mud Water is. Plus, I haven't even told you this part, it won't keep you up all night. My favorite part about Mud Water is how easy it is to make. Just drop the powder into your favorite mud, pour some water on it, and give it a mix. Boom, that's it. So head to mudwater.com, grab what's called a starter kit. Use the promo code Chael for up to 43% off, plus free shipping and a rechargeable frother. That is 43% off with code Chael only at mudwater.com. And if they ask, tell them we sent you. Stay sharp, stay calm, and power through your day with Mud Water. Khamzat Chimaev, one of my favorite subjects, by the way. I've enjoyed everything about Chimaev's career, and I've enjoyed that he found a way to entertain us so well when he's not fighting. Very rare. Sean O'Malley, Conor McGregor, Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland. Got to put him in there, guys. But, and there is a but, which is getting accurate information out on Chimaev for the past 10 months has been very difficult. Very, very difficult. Chimaev goes in to the hardest fight of his career, right? He's going to take on the former world champion, which, by the way, when Usman had a world championship, which only was a loss, right? I mean, it was just one guy, Leon. Fight couldn't be made. That's according to the guy that makes the fights. Dana White said, no way. So Chimaev, what Dana put him at? He put him at 1.5 years, which means 4 to 5 fights before we'll even talk about it. He said, I see what you guys see. I see something great. I see something special. I get that he's undefeated. Kamaru Usman is the greatest of a generation, maybe the greatest to have ever done it. I'm not putting that kid in there with the man. All right. But that very fight then did get made. But now we understand how hard that fight is. There's no debate, not to mention they both changed weights. And by the time the bell went off, it was as though Kamaru Usman was the one up against it, and he just might have been. But I'm sharing for you how difficult that fight was. It always bothered me, quite frankly. It always bothered me how hard that fight was, and in exchange for what you got. Because I've known guys like this. I am a guy like this. You can beat all the right guys, but if you beat them on the wrong night, it's not the same thing. Right? I've fought 13 world champions and I beat 11 of them. But I didn't beat them the night that they had the belt. And I don't say it to reminisce. I just share with you what a difficult fight that was for Chimaev. Then you look at how difficult that was for Kamaru Usman. 9 days notice, 8 days until the weigh-in, different continent, had never fought in this weight class. I know that he wrestled it, but he never fought in it. He's coming off not a loss, but 2. I mean, his confidence is, right, it's one of these things. He's the older guy. You are saying he can't do it. DraftKings is saying he can't do it to a factor of almost 3-1 at some point during this. Went off at 2-1. But the fight was so hard, and I felt as though they never quite got anything out of it. So we did get told, though, it was going to be a number 1 contenders match. All right. So Chimaev wins. Great controversy. I mean, hey, listen. Let's honor that. Let's make this a number 1 contenders match. Or you know what? Bring that sumbitch back and let's do it again. And if we're not going to go take the guy off for the title like we said we were going to do, let's do the next best thing, which is the number 1 contenders match. Oh, by the way, we've already found the contender. It's Kamaru Usman. That's what I would have liked to have seen happen. But I'm trying to give you an understanding on how difficult the last 10 months has been to get information out of Team Chimaev. So, Chimaev and Strickland, boom, it's game on. Eric Nissick is having to weigh in and say, hey, listen, you guys are hearing some gym stories, just let it go. You ain't hearing the right stories, and I'm not going to tell you, but everything you for just start this thing from scratch. Strickland said, yeah, it's a little harder fight. I don't know if he deserves it, but okay, this is next. I mean, Strickland was in, Chimaev was in. All of a sudden, we got the turn of the year coming, and we get Dricus du Plessis gets the shot. So, what happened? How come it wasn't Chimaev like was promised? Well, turns out, at least by report, that Chimaev had broken his hand in the Kamaru-Usman fight, and that it was even one of those broken hands that required a surgery. So he was out. Fair enough. I'm just sharing with you guys, that's what we are being told. That's what we are operating on now. But it doesn't make it true. Like, you guys remember the Yuri Prohaska with the shoulder and all this? It was not true. But it's his business. He doesn't owe us those reports. He doesn't owe us injury reports. And it's not as though we're out there questioning him. Like, we're not questioning somebody as badass as Yuri Prohaska, or you didn't want to fight. Well, of course he wanted to fight. He'd fought everybody, and he's going to come back and fight them all again. We don't know what really went on, but you went with the shoulder, and off we go. So Conor McGregor, June 29th. Like, as much as we know he did not pull out for a discolored pinky toe that may or may not have been broken and may or not have even been his, we do understand he doesn't owe us an answer. Anything to do with health or medicine, he just doesn't owe us an answer. A guy gets his version when it's his health, right? We understand that. So, I bring this to you because when I tell you how difficult it is to get information on Chimaev, I personally believe it, but all of this is in conjunction with a story that Chimaev cannot get to the U.S. Now, the one and only problem with that story, and there really was only one, is it was the second time we'd been told it. In fact, the first time we'd been told it, I broke that story to you. You guys remember this? It was on Total Accident. It's the biggest Instagram piece I have ever done. But I'm at the PI, and I'm holding the camera at the PI, and I'm talking with Chimaev's manager. And I'm saying, hey, is this true? Right, the PI is the Performance Institute that's on the campus of the UFC in Las Vegas. And I'm holding the camera and I'm saying, is this true? That Chimaev cannot get here? That he's got visa issues? Is this true? And the manager says to me, no, it's not true. And I know that's going around. So then the manager and I together, like with you as the audience, we said, well, let's ask another guy. And we turn it to another guy, and it was Chimaev. He was standing right there. Right when all of these rumors were out. But we learned something in that moment, right, guys? We don't just learn that Chimaev could come here. We also learned that Chimaev is not going to be pulled into jumping up and answering everything that he's asked, or setting every record straight, or getting his feelings hurt because there's a rumor. He's going to live his life and beat his training and do what he is told to do and has agreed to do. So we learned a lot about Chimaev in that moment, as simple as that might have been. But that in lies the problem with coming back to the second go-around on being told that Chimaev can't get into the U.S., knowing that we had that wrong the first time. But once again, much like the first time, aside from Chael P with a camera and Instagram account, we may never know. So, if he in fact can't get to the U.S. for visa issues, can he be champion? Can he be champion of the world? Can you be champion of the world, champion of everybody, in a sport that has international business that welcomes everybody, if you can't get to them? If they got to come to you, I mean, you could hold down your fort. You could be the city champion. You could be the state champion. You could be a national champion. Bring them to you, all comers. I defend all of this land. But if you can't go to them, can you become the world champion? Can they put you in that spot? There's nothing that says that they can't, and there's no rule against it. But I'm asking you guys, could you do that? Because the Olympics won it. And the World Championships won it. And the Super Bowl won it. And the World Series won it. And they won it. If you had the best guy in the world, they will set up the event, and they will tell you the date, and they will welcome all comers, but you have got to come to them. You can be the best in the world in any field. The Olympics will not mail you the gold medal. You have got to come to them and claim it. You got to take it. So I'm only asking the question because Chimaev has finally come out and he's cleared it up. And he's let us know. I can't get to the U.S. I have a travel issue. He has let us know. And he said, I don't care. Like, rules can change in administrations. I think he even talked about he'd have better luck if, based on the outcome of the election, he tied it into something along these lines. But it's an interesting spot. And we finally got a little bit of clarity for Chimaev. He said he does not care. He said, I'm going to smash everybody. They can come to me. I'll meet them here. I'll fight as many times as they want. I'll get around. I can get to a lot of places. I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care what the rules are. If it's for a belt, if it's not for a belt, I'm going to smash everybody. If this was his attitude, that's what everybody likes about him. I appreciated that attitude, but we do have a little bit of clarity. What we do with that is just as murky. Can he still get the opportunities if he can't come here? And I'm just sharing for you. Before you take that in consideration as, yes, it should be the best guy, and we will go to him. Before you say that, Valentina tried that last week. Last week, Valentina said, I am the best in the world. Well, she is the most accomplished, and it turns out she was the best in the world, and she's got the belt right now, but we don't do shows in Kyrgyzstan, so she can either get her ass on the plane or she can mail the belt back via DHL. These are the rules. So I don't know what happens here. I don't know. But I will tell you this, it's not a new ban. I mean, as much as I'm telling you with the Olympics as an example, or even the Super Bowl as an example, which is it's an all-comers, but you're going to have to come here. As much as that is true, if they allowed him to fight for a number one contendership, and they knew that, and he became the number one contender, and he did, then we have our answer. And his fight against Robert Whittaker, I cannot imagine is anything less than a number one contendership match. And that is based on our sitting champion and our current number one contender, right? Both Strickland said, I will recognize the winner of this fight, and Duplessis said, I will recognize the winner of this fight. So if you're going to let him go in and do number one contenders matches, we have our answer. And that, with as murky as it is and tough as it is to get information from Chimaev, is the best I can do for you right now.